Okay, so for our topic today, class, we will be discussing your RBC inclusions. Now, um, your RBC inclusions class, this would be derived, the word inclusion would be derived from the word inclusio, meaning inside. So when you say RBC inclusions, these are materials found inside your RBCs. Okay. Now, maraming klase ng materials class that could be found in your and there are different sources. I will discuss them one by one later. Now, the first type of RBC inclusion class that you could find in your laboratory in the future would be malarial stippling. Your malarial stippling class, these are finely granular material with malarial parasites inside. They are seen in patients suffering from malaria caused by vector-borne parasite Plasmodium species. Class vector-borne. When you say vector, this would refer to your insects. The question for this class is, what is the vector of your Plasmodium? What's the name of the mosquito, Lara? Anopheles. Pwede rin yung Aedes. But most likely, Anopheles. Anong gender ng Anopheles to class? Female. Very good. Now, there are 5 common malaria class, Plasmodium species, but let's just stick with the 4. So whenever you will be handling malarial stippling, depending on the species, may mga name yung mga stipplings nila. For your Plasmodium vivax class, it is called Schaffner's granules. Pag ovale, it is called James dots. Kapag malariae, it is known as your Seaman dots. For Falciparum class, it is known as your Maurer's dots. Pag vivax, Schaffner's, ovale, James, malariae, Seaman, Falciparum, Maurer's. Plus may tanong ako sa inyo. Anong tawag dun sa parasite that causes Maltese cross appearance sa RBC? Maltese cross appearance sa RBC. Okay, very good, Miss Maderable. So it's your Babesia, what's the species? Si Babesia, what? What's the species? Microti. So it's your Babesia microti. Very good. So this is the example class of your Schaffner's granules. What stain would you use for your malaria class? Anong stain? What's the stain? Gemsa. So don't forget your Gemsa, ha? So they would appear like this class, yung malarial stippling. Okay, trivia. If you still recall, which Plasmodium would affect your old cells? Ay, nakikita ko yung magandang noo mo. Which Plasmodium would affect old cells class? Okay, very good. Falciparum. How about yung young? Sure ka ba? Si Ovale. Vince, are you sure? Final answer. How about the rest? What do you think? Yung ina-affect yung mga young cells class. Specifically yung reticulocytes. Okay. Pwedeng Vivax, pwede ding Ovale. Either. Okay, another inclusion class would be your Cedarotic Granules. Now, your Cedarotic Granules class is usually seen in your siderocytes, sideroblasts, or ring sideroblasts. It appears as small blue dots that give a positive reaction with Prussian blue or pearls stain. It is indicative of faulty iron utilization in the synthesis of hemoglobin. Class, faulty iron utilization. What pathway is this? Diba meron tayong 4 pathways in RBC metabolism. What pathway is your faulty iron utilization? Starts with the letter M. Alright, it's your hemoglobin reductase pathway. Aning enzyme na may deficient kapag may problem yan? What's the enzyme? Sa isa't isa. Alright, cytochrome B5 reductase or your methemoglobin reductase. Now, your siderotic granules class are composed of non-heme iron. So what type of iron is this? Uy, anong klaseng iron yan, class? Non-heme iron. Come on. Sana next sem class, meron kayong prop na magpapalaro sa inyo ng Squid Games sa classroom. Pero walang killing. So what do you call the non-heme iron class? Alright. Your ferric iron. Kasi di ba yung heme nyo is always in the ferrous form. So this would be your ferric iron. They can be found in hemolytic anemia and in chemical poisoning. Sideroblast class are nucleated RBCs with cedarotic granules. Class, when you hear the word blast, what type of cell are this? Anong klaseng cell yan? Young cells. And since they are young cells, what do they contain? They contain what? They contain nucleus. Very good. So, sabi dito class, when your siderotic granules are found in your blast cells, they would now become sideroblasts. Now, when siderotic granules are arranged in a ring form around the nucleus, it would now be called ring sideroblasts. Ulitin ko class, siderotic granules class, when found in your RBC, the RBC becomes siderocytes. They appear as small blue dots that give a positive reaction with Prussian blue or pearl stain. Cedarotic granules presence usually indicate faulty iron utilization in the methemoglobin reductase pathway. Your cedarotic granules class, when asked what is its composition is ferric iron or non-heme iron. It can be found in hemolytic anemia and in chemical poisoning. Now, if your siderotic granules are found in young cells, they would now be known as sideroblasts. And when they surround the nucleus of your blast in a ring form, they would now be called ring sideroblasts. So this is the appearance class of your siderocytic granules. They are often found in the periphery of the cell. And this would be your ring sideroblasts. If you notice, the siderocytic granules would surround the nucleus of the blast. ¿Entiendes? Okay. So, nasagot nyo na to. Alright, another inclusion would be your Howell-Jolly bodies. Your Howell-Jolly bodies class would appear as single or double blue bodies of varying sizes. They are from the nuclear remnants containing DNA, indicative of rapid blood regeneration. Class, when does rapid blood regeneration occur? Blood loss due to what? Blood loss due to trauma. One more. Starts with the letter P class. Yung isa. Kapag may rapid blood regeneration ka, marami kang cells. Supposedly. So that could happen in blood loss kasi they're trying to compensate na nawawalang blood. So what else? Okay. In polycythemia vera, may increase ang cells. Then another characteristic class of your Howell-Jolly bodies is they are visualized by right stain. Howell-Jolly bodies class can be seen in megaloblastic anemia. Let's analyze the word megalo. Megalo meaning what? Large or big. Large na lang. Blastic meaning young cells. And then large young cells are called what? Oh, megaloblast, but what's the appearance of your cell here? They would appear macrocytic. RBC. Okay. In megaloblastic anemia class, you have to remember this. This is caused by folate deficiency. Plus, ano ang folate? What is that? Narinig nyo na ba yung word na folate? Folate is what? Vitamin B9. Basically, these are vitamins. Now, how would you get folate? Anong source ng folate niya? Yes, food. Klaseng food. So usually, they could be taken from leafy vegetables. So based on this class, how would you get folate deficiency? Inadequate intake. Very good. So for your inadequate intake, this is also known as your malnutrition. How about the other reason class? Okay, pregnancy, yes. What else? No, Mr. Garde? Starts with the letter M as well. Merong malnutrition, merong pregnancy. Alright, malabsorption. Now, how would malabsorption occur? Meron tayong tinatawag class for your malabsorption. For your malabsorption, we have what you call an autosomal recessive disease known as your ano tawag dito? Known as your proton coupled folate Okay, naalala ko. Proton coupled folate transporter. Transporter. This was responsible class for your decreased intestinal absorption of folate. Intestinal absorption of folate. Another one would be your hemolytic anemia, then after splenectomy. Then there's also leukemia. Plus, when you hear the word splenectomy, what does it mean? Removal of spleen. Okay. Your spleen, class, what does your spleen do? Okay. Filter senescent. When you say senescent, dying RBCs. So here's the trick, class. Diba sabi dito, how will jolly bodies came from DNA? Now, after splenectomy, class, pag nawala yung spleen nyo, young RBCs, DNA are no longer filtered or removed, making your Howell Jolly bodies present. Then there's also leukemia. Questions? Okay. Here's the appearance class of your Howell Jolly bodies. Wala siyang dot. Klase ng WBC to. Normal or abnormal? Ilan ang lobes niya? 6. Ilan ang normal lobes ng neutrophil? 5. So 6 siya. So this is what you call, class, a hyper-segmented neutrophil. So I will discuss that in the finals sa mga WBC. So remember, class, yung Howell Jolly bodies yun, they appear like that. Okay, what do you call cells with high nuclear DNA content? Starts with the letter B. D and blast. It's not blast. Alright, so basophilic. Really basophilia. Okay, another inclusion class would be your Cabot Rings. Your Cabot Rings class are loop or figure of 8 shape ring with red-purple color arranged in a linear pattern. So imagine if this is your RBC, they would tend to appear like this. Not really 8 siguro, class. Baka ano lang, loop lang talaga siya, pabilog. Ganun. This represents particles of RNA probably attached to your endoplasmic reticulum, indicative of defective regenerative activity. Cabot rings are composed of remnants of microtubules coming from the mitotic spindle. Class, do you still remember your mitotic spindle? Where does your mitotic spindle happen? Or when? Kailan? At saan? So ano yung metaphase, Christian? That is what? Division of cytoplasm. Very good. So anong itsura niya, Miss Villarreal? Naalala mo yung itsura niya? Kung kaya may ano no? Yung ganito. Yan. Tapos may ganon, may ganon, may ganon, may ganon. So this part class will be composed of your microtubules. Now remember when your cytoplasm will divide and so on and so forth, mawawala yan, masisira. It would tend to leave remnants in your Cabot rings, yung microtubules na yan. They would tend to leave remnants sa cytoplasm, forming your Cabot rings. It is an evidence of abnormal erythropoiesis. Can be seen in pernicious anemia and lead poisoning. So remember class, your lead poisoning can be toxic to your nucleus. Buti naalala nyo pa yung mitosis nyo. Pinakaayaw ko yan nung college ako class, yung cytogenetics. Lalo na yung mga compute na ng mga family, mga may mga panet square pa. Okay, this is the appearance class of your Cabot rings. So they would appear loop-like, or they would appear like ring or H-shape. Now another one would be your Heinz bodies or Ehrlich's bodies. These are aggregates of denatured hemoglobin, specifically your globin chains. They would appear as small round inclusions with intense blue color located close to the cell membrane. Requires supravital staining. Class, let's analyze the word supravital. What does vital mean? Hindi siya importante. It's not important. Yan. What does vital mean? Vitality. Here's a clue. So what does vital mean? Life. Basically, alive. Now, when you say supravital staining class, you are staining live cells. Mga buhay na cells. And you would usually use stains like new methylene blue, brilliant crescel blue, or crystal violet. Class, new methylene blue can be used to stain what type of cell? Starts with the letter R. New methylene blue can be stained, can be used to stain what type of cell? Starts with the letter R, class. Okay. So your retics, I will discuss this in the finals. So your Heinz bodies class or Ehrlich's bodies can be demonstrated via supravital staining like new methylene blue and brilliant crescent blue. Heinz bodies can be indicative of disturbed hemoglobin synthesis and breakdown caused by defective G6PD enzyme system. Class, what pathway ulit? If you still remember. Alright. Yeah, HMP. Very good. Eh, ano naman yung problem kay Emden Mayor Hawk? Pag may ano yung enzyme niya. What enzyme is affected? Alright, very good. PK deficiency. Galing naman. So ready na kayo class for 1 to 100 long quiz covering prelims to midterms? Joke lang. Okay. This is the appearance class of your Heinz bodies. Class, alam nyo pag nalilito kayo sa mga inclusions, just remember the stains. Normal naman, dalawa lang yan eh. Rights or supravital. So your Heinz bodies are stained by supravital stains. Sa Howell Jolly, stain sila ng rights. And they are more granular. Mas maliit. Okay, next would be your Papanheimer bodies. Now, these are basophilic iron containing granules found in RBC. So, this is also composed of non-heme iron, stained with your right stain, indicative of abnormal utilization of iron in the synthesis of hemoglobin. So, it again would respond to your methemoglobin reductase pathway, MRP. Papanheimer bodies would look like this, class. Another one would be your hemoglobin H inclusions. This is caused by instability of hemoglobin H. They would appear as golf ball dents, stained supravitally. So again, supravitally, you have your new methylene blue. Plus, nakakita na kayo ng golf ball. What does your golf ball look like? Ano yung tsura ng golf ball? Bilog ng maraming dots. Yes. May mga dots. Favorite sport mo ba yan, Mr. Lara? Kala ko nag-golf kay. Alam niyo, class, dito sa Manila, yung mga taong nag-golf, yan yung mga police. So, if you heard yung mga police na nasesesante pag nahuli sila nag-golf, nabalitaan niyo ba yun sa news dati? So, pag nalaman ng mga superior nila na nag-golf during nasesesante sila. So this is the appearance class of your hemoglobin H inclusions. I will discuss your hemoglobin H class along with your thalassemia. Yan ang itsura class ng hemoglobin H inclusions nyo. So they really look like a golf ball. Ang daming holes, ang daming butas, mga dents. And again, they are stained supravitally. Now, aside from inclusions class, did you know that you can also find crystals in your peripheral blood? Now, these crystals can be found in hemoglobin disease. An example for that would be your hemoglobin CC disease. In hemoglobin CC disease class, there will be the presence of hexagonal shaped crystals appearing as six-sided. Diba? Hexa meaning 6, hepta meaning 7, octa, etc. meaning 8. So your hexagonal shaped crystals would appear as bar of gold appearance. So ganyan. Another one would be your hemoglobin SC, Washington Monument. Nakita niyo na ba class yung Washington Monument sa Amerika? Sa picture. Sa picture, nakita niyo na. Sige nga, Christian, i-drawing mo. Wait lang. Bigay kita ng ano. Sige nga, i-drawing mo nga. I gave you the whiteboard access.
Tumurag anak, tumurag espada na siya sir, basta anak.
Actually class, alam mo, nung college ako, just to share sa inyo, tag dito, akala ko din ganyan ang itsura niya. Yun pala, hindi ganyan ang itsura niya. It would appear like a 1 to 2 like finger projection, glove-like intracellular crystal. Ganito yung tsura niya kasi. Ganyan yung tsura niya. Akala ko talaga nung una, ganun na ganun. May patusok, ganun, tapos ganyan. Yung wala hindi. They would appear like glove-like with a projection. Tapos ito naman class, yung sa hemoglobin CC disease. Bar of gold appearance. Sir, ito naman class, yung sa
elliptocytes.
Sir, bakit parang mukha siyang, anong kamukha class? What does it look like?
Elliptocytes.
Hindi ah. What does it look like sa po? Okay, so what they call your folded RBC? Yung biscuit cell, di ba? Mukha siyang biscuit cell. Tandaan niyo lang class, yung biscuit cell niyo kasi, mas makapal yung pagka-fold niya compared sa ganyang hemoglobin CC na disease. Okay? Then itong itsura ng hemoglobin SC crystals. I don't know why they call it crystals class. Because actually they look like more of a dito. Parang RBC lang din. Ewan ko bakit tinatawag silang crystal. Nasaan na kayo? Agent strip. Okay. Okay, sir, agent strip. Yung mamay ka ba yun? Kalimutan ko na lang. Glucose, sugar. Variation class would be your Rouleau formation. So this is the alignment of RBC on top of one another, forming an arrangement resembling a stack of coins. So who can draw here the appearance of your stack of coins? Kaya mo, Miss Johnson? Idea ka kung ano itsura yan? Sige nga. Draw mo nga. Parang nagpatong ng 5 piso sa 20. Okay lang. Murag, sa studio. yung mga tapeworm nyo. So they would appear like that class. So, ganun, patong-patong. And it can be seen in paraproteinemia. Class question. Sa CC nyo, what is paraproteinemia? So just to simplify, proteinemia, increased protein in the blood. Anong sakit? When can you see paraproteinemia? Clue. Monoclonal gammopathy. Pwede ring polyclonal gammopathy. So where can you see paraproteinemia? Lumabas yan sa prelim exam nyo. Increased protein class. So it's Benz-Jones. And what happens to your Benz-Jones protein at 100 degrees centigrade? Sa CM niya. Sa CM. And what? So, hindi nyo matatry gawin yan sa lab. Magpapakulo kayo ng ihe. Kapag increase yung protein, if there is increased protein in the blood, may kailangan kayong gawin. You would have to do what we call washing. And in washing class, pag naghuhugas kayo ng red blood cell, what's the name of the solution that you would use? NSS. And your NSS is what? What type of solution is that? Isotonic. Very good. So by washing your RBCs class, you tend to remove the protein, removing this stack of coins. Kasi class, if you look at this, mukha itong agglutination. And kapag nag-blood type kayo, a positive result is agglutination. So you need to avoid having a false positive. Malay mo, nag-rulo formation siya sa blood type B. Pero yun pala, negative pala talaga siya, blood type A siya. So ito yung pinaka indicative of disease siya, Mr. Christian. Kasi increase ang protein mo sa blood eh. But routinely mo siya may encounter siya sa blood bank. Kaya nga class sa blood bank, actually, in your practice sa laboratory in the future, this would become the most cautious. Pinaka-cautious ka dapat dyan. Kasi one wrong mistake, mamali mo yung blood type ng patient. Lagot. Okay, another one would be your autoagglutination. So cluster of RBC which has lost individual outlines since their own plasma agglutinates them. So sabi dito class, nag-auto-agglutinate. So what does auto mean? Car, sir, car. Anong meaning ng auto? So question, is it possible to have self-agglutination? Is it good or is it bad? Bad. Bakit, Ms. Torres? Bakit siya bad? What happens? Okay, so when you have blood clots inside your kakaroon ng blockage sa circulation. So kapag may blockage ka sa circulation, what happens? What else? Stroke. Blood clot yan. So, aneurysm sa utak. Okay. What else? Stroke. Heart attack. So, myocardial infarction. Meron pa ba? Okay. So, this would happen, class, wherein your own plasma would agglutinate them. Class, anong meron sa plasma niya that could make your cells agglutinate? What does your plasma contain that would make them agglutinate based on your immunology, serology? Hindi. Chongson na nakabati kung agalat yan. Nag-agglutinate. Based on your immunology and serology, what does your plasma contain that would make them agglutinate? I'm talking about immune system class. Okay. Your plasma contains antibody. What is the other name of your antibody class? Gamma globulin is one name, immunoglobulin. What are the 5 types of immunoglobulin? Can you tell me? G, A, M, E, D. Which immunoglobulin can be found in your room temperature or active in room temperature? Cold temperatures. IgM. How about active sa body temp? IgG. Class, aside from being active sa body temp, what's the most defining characteristic of your IgG? Anong nagagawa ng IgG class na hindi nagagawa ng ibang immunoglobulin niya? Okay, it can pass through placenta. Very good. Which immunoglobulin is responsible for your primary infection? Let's say first time ka nagkaroon ng ganitong sakit, what antibody would usually produce? No, it's not your okay, it's your IgM. Pag secondary infection, IgG. How about the immunoglobulin found in your saliva? IgA. Very good. Yan lang. Okay. Na-refresh ko lang kayo. Alright, your autoagglutination class can be seen in autoimmune hemolytic anemia or in the presence of cold agglutinins. What does agglutinins mean? Antibodies. So it says cold antibodies. So what type of antibodies that? IG what? Plus, this does not refer, hindi yan refrigerator temp ha. Hindi yan ref temp. Baka iniisip yung ref temp yan. Ang cold meaning yan, class, would refer to your room temp. So that would be your IgM. Kaya class, sa blood bank, mayroong cases wherein kapag nag-autoagglutinate, halimbawa nag-cross-matching kayo, when you say cross-matching, you're testing yung blood bag sa blood type mo kung compatible. May mga cases wherein you have to so-called incubate a portion of the sample at 37 degrees centigrade to rule out cold agglutins. So in your blood bank, matututunan niyo. Okay? So this is the appearance class of your autoagglutination. They would appear as clumps of RBC. Okay, review tayo. What inclusion is formed from the remnants of microtubules of your mitotic